Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. This is a friendly reminder that registration is open for the school year. We start in a month. Please come join us. You will not regret this year. We have a lot of really cool things we're offering this year, like more convocations. We're going to have more teachers this year, and we're going to be in our new space, 9204 Falls of the Neuse Road, Suite 110. We kind of have our own little bungalow with a garage where we're going to have our stage and everything, which I'm pretty excited about. All right. So today I wanted to talk about failure. Have you failed a lot in life? Have you done a lot of things that you could say that you actually failed? What if I told you that that is good? That failure is the way that you learn, that failure is a sign that you're trying. I think in society, we are so ashamed of ourselves when we fail. There's just a lot of shame that is involved. And I think we have to reframe that because that's how we learn. Ed Sheeran, who I quote a lot, says that we don't learn from the successes, we learn from the failures. So I went back and watched his interview where he said this, and it was interviewed by Howard Stern. I have my little notes right here. And um, he told Howard Stern, believe it or not, and by the way, Ed Sheeran is one of my favorite singers. I went to his concert, I guess it was 2 years ago. Was it 2 years? It was either last year or the year before that. I went to DC to go see, I guess it was last year I went to go see him. And it was just so good. He is just such a talent. He's such a talent. I listen to his songs a lot, a lot. But he told Howard Stern that he couldn't always sing. And he said that there's actually videos on YouTube of him singing when he couldn't sing, when he was just starting out. He was 14 years old. And you can Google or you can YouTube this, and it's the song Ed Sheeran Addicted. And it's kind of a train wreck. It's definitely not good singing. And he was 14, and I guess England's version of high school, and you know writing songs. He said he couldn't sing. He didn't get wasn't successful until he was 19 years old with this song A-Team. Do you guys remember that one? He wrote that at 18 and he put it out there, and then he became a huge success. He could sing then, but he couldn't sing at 14. And Howard Stern asked him what changed, like how did you he said he learned how to sing in tune, he learned harmony, he learned a lot of things on his own to be able to kind of figure it all out. And how he did it, he said he learned through tons of failure. He says that we do not talk about failure enough, that is a necessary part of the experience. You have to mess up. He says, and I don't know about this going this far, but he says to even have people like laugh at you and stuff like that, that all is necessary because it teaches you what not to do, what to do. You learn so much from it. So he says his exact quote from this interview was, "Success happens from failure a bunch." That's what he said. Um, but then there was a belief that he would get better. That belief is so powerful. And that feel like that belief only comes from failure, because you're not going to continue doing something that you only half love, that you have one foot in and one foot out of. No, you're going to figure out through this failure, through messing up, through having people laugh at you, through people, you going up on stage and freezing, you learn what you love, and you learn how to dedicate time. And he said when he was 18 and he wrote A-Team, and then he realized, like, I guess like before that, he realized, oh, I can get paid for this. I can get paid to write music. And he said that to not have any plan B when you're doing this, when you're doing something that you love, to not have any plan B, that is the only way. That is the only way that you find purpose in your life. And this week I talked about on social media, I talked about purpose, and that we have to have that purpose. So I've talked about my failing before, but I'm going to talk about it again. And that was not the only time. I have failed a lot as a singer, as a performer, a lot. The Mom says that when I was singing, I guess in high school or something, that I froze on stage and ran off the stage at one point. I don't remember that. I'm sure it happened, but I had a lot of failures. And so my memory of failing is that junior in high school, I decided I wanted to be in the musical. I had never taken voice lessons. I had never done anything. And I was just like, I want to do this. I was on the soccer team the years before that. And so I'd been doing soccer. And then I decided I wanted to do the musical. And it was Evita. And I auditioned. I don't even remember what song. I think my mom helped me choose something. I just went in and sang whatever, and I didn't get in. I was devastated, but that was my first experience. So, I mean, what did I know? So, but I had heard somewhere somebody say, you should go and find out if they can give you any feedback. So I went back and was like, is there anything that I could work on? And when I went back, I got in. A spot opened up and I got in. So right there, my failing and going and talking to them got me a spot. So that right there was a direct result of failing. So that's one thing. That was my first experience. And so that didn't sting as bad because I was able to turn that around pretty fast. I remember you guys know that I only took voice lessons for less than a year or a year. And I decided I want to go to a college for music. And I learned the music by rote. And I go and audition and I didn't get in. So I don't know what to do, decide a few months later that I'm going to try again. And I got in by the skin of my teeth. I got in. So again, right there, I had this huge rejection, this like plan in my head, this like purpose. I knew what I wanted to be, a music teacher. Like I knew all of this, and it wasn't quite aligning. And so I figured it out. I went back and then I got in. And then my biggest failure, which I have spoken about this before, and it's not always easy for me to do this, but I think it's so important for students to learn about this, that it's not all that our progress in music is not always linear. There are things that happen and it's part of it. But I was asked to leave the school um my second year because I could not sight read. I went in not knowing the language, and I was too scared, and everybody else knew it, and I was too scared to go in and work it out and like figure it out with the teacher. And I just I was too embarrassed. And so I let my embarrassment prevent me from doing the work that I needed to do to be able to get to the next level. And that was to be able to sight read. And so I was asked to leave the school. That was probably the most devastating moment of my life. And one of the biggest reasons I started the school, right there, it's having teachers who want to teach music theory and teaching the sight reading part of it, because that's, if you want to do that, if you a well-rounded musician knows the language, they just do. And so don't you want every opportunity available to you? So learning that language is good, especially when you're younger. It's easier to learn languages when you're younger in a certain way, So it was devastating, but guess what? A week later, I decide, okay, I'm not going to let this get me down. I go and audition for my other school, and I got in immediately. So I'm starting to learn here. I was learning that these are not the final words. These are not the final words. Like when, it's just a momentary thing. And it just teaches you more and more of like who you are, what you want to do. But the family didn't stop there. So I got into school, didn't get a single role or audition for anything for all the years I was there. And then I auditioned for grad school, didn't get into every grad school that I auditioned for. And I remember this one school, even I found out that one of the teachers was from Raleigh, and we really hit it off and everything. And I still didn't even get into that school. So again, more failing, but not all the way, Then I'm trying to think of I didn't get into certain operas and stuff. So in grad school, my first year, I auditioned for the operas and didn't get anything. And I'm a grad student. We're expected to have the roles, and I didn't get anything. And so Next year, I went in more prepared than I've ever been in my life, and I got the lead. So I got Madame Butterfly and Madame Butterfly. So I went from not getting any roles ever to having the lead role of a 3-hour opera. So again, none of my failures were the final word. I kept going, and I just want that same thing for you. I see so many people being the director of a music school. So many people just give up immediately. Immediately. There's just so much shame in it, I guess. So much it's like people are looking for what is going to be the easiest thing. What is going to be the easiest thing for me? What is going to, instead of what is going to sing in my heart, what is in total alignment? And that is what failure does. It teaches you what you love, it teaches you how to work. It teaches you how to think and how to create beliefs in yourself, even when you don't have the evidence there. Failing is not final. That is the part that people don't understand. It is not final. It is only momentary. Momentary. Look at Ed Sheeran now. He is probably almost a billionaire. The guy has been touring straight for the past 2 years all over the world, has made multiple platinum albums, probably one of the most widely known names in all of music. And he couldn't sing. And he was laughed at a lot. What would it mean if you looked at failure as learning? What would that mean to you as a person? I think we in part use failure as a way to stop things because we don't want to spend time on things. We want everything immediate into us now, and not wait. I think we're worried about wasting time. But what if it's not wasting time? What if you find out after a whole bunch of failure that it wasn't for you? Did you really waste your time? No, because you had purpose, because you were doing something bigger than yourselves. You were figuring it out. It helps you form your personality. It helps you form your sense of individuality. It gives you trust in yourself. If you have not failed a bunch, you have not tried a bunch. I guarantee, I don't care who it is. I don't care how successful they are. They have failed. They have failed multiple times. Do you see these Fortune 500 companies? Do you know how many times those people have been bankrupt? Do you know how many times they've had to ask for money? Do you know how many times they've lost money, a ton of money? Do you know how many times they've had to fire people or they have been fired? Do you know how many times? You would not even believe. It's the belief. It is the belief behind everything that we do. And you will not get the belief if you are always successful, always getting stuff. Always. It makes it too easy. It gives you the impression that life is easy, that things are supposed to be easy. Now, I can see the other side of this too. Do you want to spend time with a thing or a relationship that isn't giving you the return on your investment? I could see that too. But how do you really know? How do you really know until you've really tried? And what does that mean to really try? I think that means to fail multiple times first. To have a multiple time experience that doesn't work, but not until then. I think that a lot of the people who I've seen come in and out of the school who wind up not doing it anymore haven't really seen. And I sometimes I'm going to say something very controversial right now, that it's sometimes not even to do with the student, but with the parent. That I think parents, you are searching how to meet the needs of your child so much. And when you see them struggling at something, when you see that their attention is waning, when you see them not putting time or effort into it, you equate that as this is not right. Instead of teaching your child, no, you have to commit to this. We have to teach our children how to commit to stuff. We have to teach our children how to fail. And we don't fail if we don't have our both feet in. We don't. So I'm not saying that every time you see your child struggling and you don't do and you don't remove whatever it is, the obstacle for your child, that's not going to be helpful occasionally. But what are the signs? Is your child truly just overbooked? Has too much on their plate. I think that we as parents out there are trying to meet the needs of our child by having them do multiple things every day or week or anything like that, to try to find that thing that's going to really help them excel and shine. And I get that. I get that sentiment. I get that. But where is the time in that? Where's the time for play? Where is the time to figure things out? I was talking to someone the other day about when we were younger, us millennials, when we were kids. I remember lots of parents saying you can have two things. You can have an athletic thing and then something else. And for me, who, came from a single mom and, we didn't even have that. I had one thing I could do, but that there wasn't this overabundance of of scheduling. And so now I feel like there is just so much overscheduling that you don't even have time to think. But back then we did a lot of tree climbing and a lot of play and outside. And I know the world is a little bit different now. Maybe it's a little bit more unsafe. And I would love to hear in the comments how, your theories and how you feel about that. But I don't think that we give our children enough time to fail, and that we don't celebrate failure. So I don't mean celebrate failure as in giving trophies to everybody. I don't believe in that. I don't think that everybody deserves that. I think that cheapens but how in other ways can we celebrate our children's failure? Could we recognize them? Could we, even just to each other, to our families, could we tell them we're proud of them? Can we tell them, I see you I see you at home practicing. You didn't get the competition this one time. Keep going. Don't let this stop you. Because ultimately, are we doing what we're doing in music for the competition? Are we doing it so that we can get paid? Some of us might be doing it so we can get paid, but you also have to do it because you love it and because it's an alignment and it gives you purpose and self-esteem and confidence and all those other things that come along with the process of music, of learning music. But there's got to be some signs there, and it can't just be a one-time, oh, my child is not doing well at this, we're gonna stop. Because you miss out on so much, because then you don't actually know if it is for them or not. And your child never learns what it means to really put both feet into whatever they're doing. Failure equals trying. Failure does not equal shame. Failure does not equal worthlessness. Failure does not equal we should stop. Failure is, it's a pointer. It points us in the right direction. It is a compass. And that compass shows us, is this for me or is this not for me? And the questions we can ask ourselves when we're failing about whether something is for us or not is, did this give me joy when I did this? What doesn't give me joy about this? What lit me up when I did this or that? What song? There's just so many intrinsic things that you cannot get from avoiding failure. I say anytime your child fails and and they really are trying, and it's just so hard. It's so hard as a parent to know if they're really trying or not. But I think deep down we know, and I think your child will deep down will know if they've really tried or not. Don't let your children really not try. as much as you can, as much as, you know, and it just takes questioning and takes a lot of different things. But we don't stop because it's too hard. We don't stop because we didn't get something. No, that is our compass. That is when we start asking questions. Ed Sheeran, who I just solely look up, I mean, I look up to him so much. He's probably my favorite pop singer. Look at him now. And he failed a whole bunch of times, a whole bunch. What are you willing to fail? What in your life are you willing to fail? It's an interesting question. I'm going to leave you there and I will see you soon. Have a wonderful week.